Welcome to a snowy February edition of the Divorce Dad Playbook podcast. I'm Dan Levy.
I'm Scott.
Take your time on that. What are you shoveling? Is it you like take 4 seconds to say hello?
I just can't move as fast as I normally would move with it snowing as much as it is. It's dumping down.
I want to talk a little bit about the snow because this is a snowstorm that's hitting most of the East Coast. So I think a lot of our listeners are getting hit by this. But it's interesting because I never thought I'd say it, but I miss shoveling. Like I legitimately miss shoveling. And then someone on one of these. Well, I mean, I've offered several women who I've met on various apps. If I can get my car out, I'll come shovel. And it's not for like to curry favor. It's just because honestly, there's like we talked to Nicole and Ananda about this, the sweeping. There's like a Zen sort of Buddhist feeling about shoveling, about clearing a path and then clearing a path the other way and then clearing a path and then clear. And I miss that. I miss the mindfulness of shoveling. And I'm 100% serious.
My town, when I was traveling last year during snowstorms, would find me because I'm on a key area of a walking town. And if things weren't cleared, people couldn't get to the train, people couldn't get to school, but I wasn't around. So how am I supposed to shovel the snow if I'm not around? I was gallivanting around the country, I suppose.
Well, maybe you should have been home.
And so I got fined like a few times, which I think is ridiculous because I pay an enormous amount of taxes for this town. And I have 2 teenagers, but obviously they weren't here when I wasn't here. So I got a guy. But I'd love for that guy to be you, to be honest.
If I could get 2 hours in a snowstorm to shovel for 25 minutes for you, I would do it. But I can't. So all I can do is offer local women I don't even have a shovel anymore, man. I don't even have a shovel.
I've got all the I've got
a spatula and a ladle.
I've got like 4 shovels.
The theme song.
I got a lot of shovels for you, man.
We have 3 theme songs today. This is the first one. This is on the nose. You know what song this is?
No, I never know what song it is.
It's Snow. Informer. Snow.
It's literally called Snow.
The guy is Snow.
Oh, I don't know, dude. You have a lot of strange old references.
Everyone listening to this knows Snow.
I would say not everyone. You have sweeping judgments. Not everyone.
This is not like back at the beginning of the show when Game of Thrones conversation where somebody actually sent in and like, I didn't watch Game of Thrones because I think they were just trying to like date you or something.
Wait, is this the band's name Snow or the guy's name Snow?
The guy is Snow. It's Snow. Informer. It's like one of the. Anyway, so I thought about that as the theme, but then I was like, I did that last year during a snowstorm. I put that on Instagram. Like I was just watching the snowfall, and then that was like, I think it might have been the first like Instagram reels I've done. Yeah. And then last week we teased that we got a record player, right? The Levy record player. So if you follow me on Instagram, yes. Scott, I've been putting out some of the albums that we've been listening to. The kids and I have been putting on. Fats Domino sings million gold record hits is probably the best record that I got. I went to New Hope on a date the other day. Good place to go if you're anywhere within an hour of New Hope. It's like a hipster paradise, but it's also like a cool place to go. So just keep that in mind when there's no snow. But I got this little gem over my shoulder, and I'm going to play this in a second because I told Max that if I was ever an adult contemporary singer, this is the guy I would sound like, or I would at least try to sound like. See if you know this one.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll hear the first words because it pertains to us.
I don't know the words, but I know the guy.
It's coming right here. Ready? You don't know me, but I'm your brother. Because we're brothers.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother. But this
is Michael McDonald.
Yeah,
well, see, Doobie Brothers.
You know
the adult contemporary guy, of course.
You got to let me guess at least. I don't know Snow, but I know Michael McDonald.
So anyway, if I was trying,
he died recently, didn't he? He passed not too long ago.
I don't think so.
No, I actually think he did. Yeah.
Hold on, we're gonna pause the show.
No, don't pause the show. I think he actually might have passed. If not, Michael, forgive me. I'm not trying to erase you from the world early.
Very not dead.
Oh, is that right? Well, we're taking it to the streets. What can we say, man?
The Doobie Brothers are like playing again, man. Before pandemic, maybe.
Wait, he was part of the Doobie Brothers?
Doobie Brothers.
Wait, Michael McDonald is a doobie?
He came in halfway through the reign of Doobie Brothers, and they went from like just a jam funk band to like adult contemporary. This is Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers.
I feel like Michael McDonald was an individual artist.
He was, and then he joined the Doobie Brothers, and then after that, he became an individual artist again of some renown. I have been on a search. By the way, if anyone out there, Dan@divorced.playbook.com. I swear to you, if anyone has a copy of the double episode of What's Happening, where the Doobie Brothers play and Rerun sticks the gigantic tape recorder in his jacket, he's wearing an overcoat, and he's dancing at the beginning of the front, and he loves it so much the tape recorder falls out and the Doobies stop playing the entire concert. I need that.
I feel like we're doing this show in like 1985.
You don't know me.
This is like Back to the Future. And we just took the DeLorean. You're in your element.
You want it to be more contemporary?
Current? I want to be more current.
Okay, this actually pertains to the topic I want to discuss. So here, let's current you up. Can't believe you, of all people, were saying I wasn't current enough with my music.
You're not.
I'll give you $1,000 if you know who this is.
I'm not gonna know. First of all, I would love for you to give me $1,000, but I'm not gonna know who it is.
I know, because
I don't have time.
But you just said you wanted it to be in the center, and I'm giving you like a hit new song. It's like a big song.
Is this country?
Nope. It's called indie rock. I think you missed that entire genre as you were growing up.
I think this is after I was growing up, to be honest.
This came out like a year ago. It's like from last year.
Well, yeah, clearly. What?
You wanted to contemporize it.
Where do you think I'm listening to this kind of music? Like, I'm just hanging out, playing new indie rock
Spotify?
music?
Yeah. Okay, this is the part, right? Wait, listen.
These kids are listening to rap.
Stop. This Haim Steps.
Sounds like country.
They're like a very powerful female supergroup. Sisters as well.
They're a crossover country.
Not country at all.
Pop country.
So there's the three songs. Again, Snow, because it's snowing. The Doobie Brothers, just because I wanted to see if I could sing like a Michael McDonald. And I don't know. By the way, I don't know. I'm gonna play it back later to see if that sounded any good. Was it any good? Was it even close?
No, it was awful. Like thank God he was louder than you were.
Oh man.
You got to take it to the streets, man. Come on, taking it to the streets.
I'm gonna take it to the streets after we're done recording and go shovel some ladies' driveways.
Bro.
And then Haim the Steps. And that's where I want to go because I spend a lot of time. Look, as people do when there's a snowstorm, what do? You bunker in, you wait till the snow stops, and you get on Tinder. So I want to talk about that. That's what I did this weekend.
That's not what I do, but I'm glad we're relatable to different groups of people, and that's what you're saying people do, because I did not do that at all.
Okay. A couple of we're a little bit all over the place with this because there's like 7 different avenues I want to go, and they all pertain to dating.
Well, you did 3 different songs,
February.
So pick a lane. That's cool.
No, it's February, so Valentine's Day's coming up, right? And we have this big rollout we're about to do with helping people find love. We'll tease that.
Very exciting. Yeah.
And so I have been on a one-to-one level. I've been really talking about what we're working on, and have gotten some excellent feedback. And so that all pertains to this. And I want to just give one pro tip for people who are listening to this in a snowstorm, just for fun. Go on your Tinder, your Bumble, your Hinge, or wherever you go, Match, whatever. Slide down the old search parameter distance bar to 1 mile, and then widen your age to as wide as you would feel comfortable. I mean, don't put 18 to 80, but
18.
Go like, well, that's what they legally allow you to do. I'm saying don't do that.
But 18-year-olds on apps,
adults are allowed to date, man. They're adults. They can fight for our country and drive a car. They can't go on Tinder. I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, they can't drink.
It's not an alcoholic website.
No, but I just think, all right, you're right. Voters should be able to date.
Spread your parameters out as wide as you can on age as you feel comfortable, and as tight as you can on distance. And then, I see dad, cool. And then Scott,
Oh,
what
it's
you should
the man,
do,
the myth, the legend, Dad. But go ahead.
what you should do is see who's in your 1 mile radius. Like, you know how people are doing a COVID bubble with their
Oh,
neighbors?
so you can maybe walk to a date in the snow,
Exactly. They are snowstorm
buddies.
buddies. Yeah. I mean, for lack of a better term, I actually,
Finding love in the storm.
yeah.
Take it into the streets. Is that why you played that?
No, I was
You're
playing it because I
taking
wanted to
it to
sound
the
like Michael
streets.
McDonald. And you don't
Oh,
know me because I'm your brother.
but
But
if
it
you're taking it to
pertains.
the
Yes.
streets, right? You're taking
it to
love to the
You're
streets.
walking to your
a mile.
Yes.
You're walking to your bunker buddy, is what you're saying.
Now it's funny because I
All
actually
making
have
sense to me.
I actually have one of those. And of course, the obligatory, hey, let me know if you need any help shoveling, and definitely let me know if you need any help getting plowed. I mean, that's the obvious joke when it's snowing.
Is that the text?
I've used it 3 times this week. I've used that joke 3 times. Hasn't worked yet, but still using it.
You haven't plowed anybody. I mean,
not plowed anybody.
anyone, like any. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, it's just because I can't get there.
No plowing happening in Dan's world.
I was going to shovel for a woman who does live 2 miles from me, and we're supposed to go out, and we haven't met yet in person. And I thought that was a weird way to first meet someone. Like, it's a little chivalrous, but it's also a little bit like you're trying too hard to, like, I'm going to traverse the elements to come shovel your driveway for you because you're a single mom and you have a lot to do and your kid's home.
Does she?
And then
Does she need help shoveling? Is she going to pay somebody to shovel?
She, before the snow, she notably hates cold. She is not a cold weather person. So I just figured I would offer. I'm sure she can do it herself. She seems like a very capable woman, but she doesn't like it.
No, but I'm saying, would it be? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with if you can go if it's going to be therapeutic for you and it's going to help her out. What's the difference?
I mean, I think it's a little, yes, but I think in that particular case, one, you don't want to meet somebody with, like, giant jacket hat on and you look terrible because no one's like shoveling in your best clothes or whatever. And two, like, it does feel a little bit manipulative on my part where it's like, oh, I'll drive to shovel for you. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to.
Well, especially if she hears that you wanted to shovel and plow. I have a feeling that would be all shoveling and no plowing.
Damn. So can we get to the steps?
Taken to the streets?
No, the steps.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so there's a couple reasons. You seem just totally uninterested in this conversation. Do you have something to do? Are you good?
No, I was getting a text.
Do you want to read it? Can you share it for the class, Scott?
No.
Mr. Levy, can you please share this with the class?
Continue. I just don't know what we're talking about, actually. So fill me in. Steps.
Okay. So there's a couple of things. One, we can talk about the steps that we are working on, and they're going to be out soon. And I think that's important for people because a lot of people have come to me. And I think we talked about this, Scott, on the last episode where I was out with somebody and they were like, I don't need help with my dating profile. And then I explained to them the kind of stuff that I look at when I see a dating profile. And they're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. Please help me. And so I think that we should share our steps. If I'll throw that to you on sort of how we are helping people, because we're already doing it. We just haven't like thrown it out there for everyone to see, but we're already doing these steps on how to help people. So if you want to do that, and then I think, and I'll tease this, Scott, the best answer ever for someone who is looking for a long-term relationship and came to me saying that they were nervous that I'm not ready. And it pertains to that song, the best answer ever. So first, do you want to sort of talk about like what we're launching in the next couple of days?
Sure. I mean, I don't want to give it away, obviously, because it's important. But what I will say is, as you mentioned, we're into February, and during a snowstorm, if you're looking to match with somebody really close, I said this before, even though it's a very greeting card like holiday, Valentine's Day, I think yes. if you have a relationship with somebody, you should show your love and appreciation every day. I think though it's hard, it's really hard on people who are newly single or been single for a while or whatever. If you're alone on Valentine's Day, I don't care if you believe in Valentine's Day or you don't, it's still really hard. So we take this as an opportunity to help people more. We know where people's heads are. I think our heads are there too, right. A little bit. And I think that it's that time where instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing and the fact that you don't have love or you don't have a partner, or you don't have a hookup or whatever it might be for Valentine's Day, because it is a weird day, work on you, work on yourself. And we're big believers in, if you're trying to find love and you're on dating apps, what a better time leading into Valentine's Day and on Valentine's Day, which is a Sunday this year, interestingly enough, on a holiday weekend, actually. So this is like a triple whammy
Oh,
happening
President's
in
Day
February.
and
Yeah,
Love Day are all on the same
yeah.
weekend. How about
So
that?
so for all of those that have new love and are going away, bless you. That's a great idea in February to, go away for a long weekend if you don't have the kids, et cetera, et cetera. For those of us that don't, uh, work on yourself, work on your profile. And that's part of what we've been really putting a lot of effort into, is providing everyone, as we say, a playbook. And this is the beginnings of a playbook to help you with your profiles.
Good thing for me is I actually do have the kids that weekend, so the pressure's off. Also, that Thursday is my birthday, so it's like a really big holiday weekend. You go my birthday
It's a
Thursday,
quadruple whammy for you.
right?
Yes.
Then you have President's Day. Should we tell the people if I was born one day later, I was apparently going to be named Abraham Lincoln Levy? Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
No, but I did name you. I did
Uh,
pick the name, and that's your name. You know that. I know that annoys you that I did that,
go
but
ahead. I don't. It doesn't annoy me at all. You some. Go ahead.
no,
Feel
there's
free.
nothing to go ahead. I was 6. Like I
But
named you.
shouldn't the people listening to this get paid off on that? Shouldn't you tell them? I know the story. Tell the people listening. Tell them what they've won.
No, I mean, I don't remember what the story was. Is some kid in my class? Was that what it
You are
was?
an asshole. You are such an asshole. Yeah, there's a kid in your class. I think it was my middle name anyway. I think there's a kid you went to class with named Jason, and then you
No, it
said
was
you don't like
both.
that. Oh well, yeah.
I had a Daniel
That's
and a
fine.
Jason, and so I actually your entire name came
Some
from
randos.
came from a 6-year-old.
That's fine. Max's name came from, I almost said Uncle Paul, from Paul's friend Max when we were growing up.
Oh, it did?
That's why I like the name. I always liked the name because he was like he was a great
Oh,
friend for Paul, and
that's
I always liked
funny.
him.
Yeah, he's a
I mean,
good
it's
guy.
not that
Shout
he's
out to
not named
Max.
after him, but that he's not named after him. But
No.
that's what put it in my head originally.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
All right.
That's
Well,
well,
thank you
there
for
you
that.
go.
Great
You're
story. It
welcome.
was a terrible story. You didn't even tell it. You teased it and then you didn't tell it. I will say, but with regard to what you're saying, yes, it's a good weekend to be introspective, and it's a good weekend to sort of take stock of your life. I have a tendency to do that every year on my birthday. I think everybody does that on their birthday. I don't think Valentine's Day is a day for that, Scott. I think Valentine's Day is a day to either uh, show the person, and it's a greeting card holiday, blah, blah, blah. Show the person that you care about them in a way that is a creative gesture. If you bring home chocolates and flowers, that's fine. There's nothing. When I had my radio show, my God, we used to have one of those, flower companies who paid my salary because we would have people call, you order flowers online, they show up, they're beautiful, they last for a while, and then your person is happy. So I'm not saying don't go the flower, but if you can think of something more creative, certainly it will stand out. And I think that's similar to what we've been talking about with regard to like finding people online or dating people. Like, be creative when you try to match with somebody. Don't just give them the hey, what's up? Hey, how are you? How about this weather? Like, try and come strong. Come with something that's a little bit more creative. And that's something I've talked to a lot of people about recently. Like, you want to stand out. I think I said this on the show. If not, I wrote about it the other day for our site. Like, if you go on a first date, Scott, do you comb your hair? Yeah. Do you make sure that your clothes are clean? Like, I ironed my jeans, man. Like, I'm not screwing around. Like, they were really wrinkly, but like, you don't screw around when you're on a first date because you want that person you're going out with to get a great first impression of you. So then
Right.
why do people half-ass their dating profiles? That's the first impression I get of you.
Yeah. I think there's so many issues with dating profiles, and obviously that's a reason why we've really begun to focus on that element first, because I think a lot of people go that route. Whether you're new, you're just getting separated before you're even divorced, you jump on the apps because like, oh, I have a whole new life out there. Let me see what it's all about. And it
Let's see
keeps you
who's a mile away
busy,
and can
keeps you
plow.
happy, see who you can plow from a mile away. I do think that Yeah, I mean, our theory behind this, I don't think it's such a groundbreaking theory, but we do, and we've done a lot of research on this, that you're absolutely right. I think you said it well, that why would you not put out your best presentation on your profile
Right.
if you're looking to get somebody? And I think that it goes deeper than that. We've talked about it, that a lot of people may not know what their best profile is.
Yeah. And
A
then
lot
this
of
is
people may
perfect.
not know, right? A lot of people may not know what they're even looking for. I had a conversation about this over the weekend, that trying to figure out why I am attracting the types of women that I'm attracting
Well, I
through
told
my
you why. I knew
profile.
that in 10 minutes. Yeah.
No, I know you did, but not everyone does it. I don't know if I actually, if you told me why, and I don't disagree with you, but I'm trying to reconcile that.
Well,
And
Cliff's Notes version for people who are listening and who, may have become groupies of yours, because that has happened. People, I have people who I matched with who were like, "Can you set me up with your brother?" Like they're matching with me to get into you, almost literally.
the
And
the
so,
waiting line, yeah.
yeah, well, I have some people in New York. Once the weather picks up, I mean, I think that you might be interested in, but I think you're doing fine by yourself. Anyway,
I'm all right, all right.
but what happens, and look, people have listened to the show from the beginning, or even if you just started and this is your first episode, hi and thank you. I think you can tell the dynamic between us. You're the sage wisdom. I'm the frenetic energy. Oh my God, this is all new. And we're still to that extent. Like this is now today, as we're recording. Shit. This is gonna hit me. This is the 1 year anniversary of the day I moved here in this apartment.
Oh,
I
congratulations.
I don't know if that's the word. I don't know if that's the word.
Congratulations.
I survived a year. Congratulations. And I used to say
You,
this on my
you
birthday
did
every
not
year.
survive a year. That's not fair. No.
Well, no, hold on. Let me, before you tell me I'm not fair, I used to say on my birthday every year, jokingly, your birthday is just 365 days from the previous birthday. Congratulations, you survived an entire year without dying. What's interesting, though, is I used to say that flippantly, and now I will say that 100% seriously, without any irony at all. Congratulations, I survived this year without dying. I think that's actually like, I think I deserve credit for that, for my, like, internally. I'm not saying anybody else deserves, pretty surprised at that, to be
I'm
honest.
I'm
Is that
giving you
upside down?
credit. It's like one of those sitcoms where it's like every time I go to say something, you're like, oh.
Well, this is
That
not
would
an
be.
easy topic to talk about, so I'm trying to make it as lighthearted as possible.
I know, but I'm chill, dude. I'm proud of you.
I'm
Like
glad you're chill that I survived the year. Thanks.
I'm proud of you. I'm saying I'm proud of you. I had no doubts you were going to survive the year. You may have had some doubts that you're going to survive the year, which I understand, which we've talked about time and time again. But I always knew that you would, and I think that you've not only survived it. I think you're a much better version of yourself for the most part. And I think this is what people go through. I think you're going through what a lot of people go through in your own way, which
Yeah.
is growth and acceptance and whatever kind of normalcy you might be able to find. But I think you've learned a lot over this
I
past
think,
year, and I think you've learned that there's a
yeah.
lot to live for.
I think the thing that I missed for the span of time where I wasn't well is I missed helping other people. And I should have, 2020, I should have worried about helping myself and helping my family, because I took that for granted, except for my kids. And that's sort of why I think I survived this year. But I think in what we're doing, I've really learned that that's what I like to do, is to help people. And so to that point, to spin it back to what we were talking about, oh my God, Scott. So do you remember the time we talked about this is the Barney Stinson episode where I went on a good run and I was like, I need to go to the doctor. That was like a good week for me. Well, remember I
Yeah.
talked about how I went out with like 4 women in 3 days and like the total was like, like 38 if you were doing like a 1-10 scale for each of them. Like it was insane how I have another one of those lined up. Like another one of those potential weeks that could be like a
The
like a
perfect
30
week,
for 30 week.
as Barney Stinson said, the perfect week.
Yeah, like today's Monday that we're taping, so I could have gone a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, I'm not joking. This is 30 for 30. You just throw me on ESPN for this because it would be legend. You can
Dairy.
finish that. Thank you. But like the Mr. Plow episode of The Simpsons, the snow has basically canceled all of this. Now, one of them I might be able to drive 2 miles to shovel her driveway, but the other one lives 45 minutes from me, and we're certainly not going to hang out in a snowstorm. So the date on Monday is shot. The date on Wednesday wasn't definitely lined up anyway, but the snow is going to impact that. And then Friday, who knows what we'll be like on Friday? We'll still be playing catch up. So I could have gone from potentially having a 30 for 30 to none of it happening. And what I have learned is, and you said this to me before, business wise, you're big on momentum. Right? If you're not moving forward, if you're stagnant, you're moving by. And that is a big thing for me. And I've noticed that on these apps. If you don't go out with somebody the day you schedule it, and you don't go out with them the day you reschedule it for some reason, that's it. Very rarely do you get a third bite at the dating apple. If you can't meet the person you've tried to, then you both move on. You're like, well, it wasn't meant to be. And I can't let that happen on any of these. I just can't.
Yeah, that's interesting. I agree. Although, the weather, it's not like it's just snowy over your apartment. So it's snowing for everyone. I think people will give a pass when it comes to something that affects
It's not
everybody.
about that, Scott. It's about the fact that now you have to sustain a
So keep
telephone
talking.
text
Well,
relationship for 2 weeks that you wouldn't have otherwise had to do. Because once you meet somebody, it changes the dynamic, right? You either like them or you don't. You get closer or you don't. But on this text and every other, do you text them every day? Do you text them every other day? Is every day too much? Do you text them 40 times a day? I'm juggling 20 people. And again, I don't mean any disrespect to any of those 20 people. I'm giving everyone the amount of time that I would give everyone. I was sat and watched 5 episodes of Cobra Kai to go back to the 80s nostalgia last night. I was up until like 2 a.m. That's why I slept through if we were even taping, because I was sitting here texting women back watching Cobra Kai. Sweep the leg, Johnny.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, that's interesting. That's something that should resonate with people. That, again, I always talk about the gamification, and you're so into that part of it where you'll stay up watching shows, if you're even watching, and like swiping and texting with people until 2 a.m. And a lot of people do it. I would imagine you weren't just texting yourself, so you're obviously engaging women. And
Right.
I think that's something to remember. And there's a couple things that I believe in remembering on this, is that one is, there's a lot of people out there. And I know I know everyone. I say you, I'm not speaking to you, Dan. I'm speaking to yous out there. You get fixated on, you get fixated on a couple of people or one person, and you think that's your perfect match, and maybe it is, but in all likelihood, it's not, because there's so many other people, and a lot of it has to do with timing, and you can't time snowstorms, and you can't time all this other stuff. So my feeling behind it, and again, I know I'm fairly chill about it, but is that sometimes the timing is off, and that's okay. And so you go and find some other things. Hold on, one other thing.
No, go ahead.
And then what I also think, and I find this really interesting, it may be part of our research, and this may be part of what's about to come out. There's a couple of stages that you go through on these apps. And one is what you're talking about right now, which is you're going through and you're trying to find people to connect with, right? I mean, you're up till 2, 3 in the morning, you're doing that. I think once you do connect with, and this is something we're going to have to figure out how to help people with too, is once you connect, wow, there are some people that are horrible conversationalists, at least through text. Horrible. Like, I'm sorry, if you can't take more effort than saying, hey, or what's up, or what are you doing this weekend? Like, come on, be creative. Actually, I will say I had one person.
It's not even a matter of be creative. It's just a matter of be a human.
Be a
You
human.
call your friend up and say like, hey, what's up? You give them something. Give them a story. Tell them something that's going on.
But
Show
I
up
honestly
with a thing.
Yeah, but I honestly think that those people, male or female, aren't that into it. And so if they're not that into it, it doesn't matter if you're the perfect match for them or not. It's like the timing isn't there. I just think they're not that into it. I might be wrong.
Scott, I
respectfully prove me wrong.
I respectfully disagree with you.
So that's cool. I'm open to people
are overwhelmed and they don't know how to communicate in this world. They don't know how to do it. And so it's not, look, and Scott, I mean, keep in mind, I have done a lot of both like research for what we're doing, but also like some, back and forth anecdotal research. And I think what I have found, even people who are great communicators, even people who are very good talkers, very engaging, gregarious people, they don't know how to do it in this world. And I even struggle with, like I said a minute ago, if you like someone, if you start dating someone, you're not going to see them every day, right? It spreads out. You see them once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, whatever, and then
Yeah.
it grows. But do you text them every day? Do you text them every other day? Do you text them 4 times a day? Do you text them 7 times a day? That depends on each person, and there's no rule about that. And so you have to find your dance partner that dances the same way that you dance. I need somebody who's going to be more engaging of a texter, because otherwise, if I'm texting someone who only wants to text me once a day because we want to take it slow, what the hell else am I doing? I'm texting 19 other people because that's just I crave communication of all kinds. So I'm a hyper communicator. You might not be. You might. When I'm doing work, I'm doing work. After work, I want to spend that hour while I'm relaxing on the couch, texting some people, catching up, and then that's it. I want my time. And there are people who do that. That's not a good match for me. And that's where you have to figure that out, Scott. That's where I think people give up. I don't think that they're late. I don't think they don't care. I think they're so beaten down by this process that they've essentially given up because they feel like they can't do it. And that's where I want to help them.
Okay, so I think for those people, then, if you're beaten down by the process, take a break. Like, I think people get into the sequence. No. I do think this. I think people get into the sequence of the process wears them down, and they think that if they don't at least connect with somebody each day, why is this making you mad? If they don't at least connect with somebody
literally
each day,
what we are putting out there is telling people the opposite of what you're saying.
No, dude.
Yes.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. There's a difference.
God.
The majority of people need help, and we're going to help them. So I'm cool with that. However, there is a minority of people that they're burnout, and no matter how much you help them, they need a break. It's life. That's okay. That's okay. Yes, you can, Dan. You can. You're not going to come back on an app and everyone's going to be gone, and you're going to have nobody to connect with.
That's not, Scott. That's not the point. What you're missing, what I'm trying to say is that more people feel they are burned out because of COVID, because of the fact that you've been cooped up, because of the fact that your friends are all nesting or all married in a relationship where they can do whatever they want all the time because they're living with their significant other. That people, it's like a faux burnout. They've given up because they don't know how to work the system to their advantage. And what I'm telling you, and I don't want to sound like one of these super system guys, like, tiny classified ads, like we used to joke around. But what I want to say is, if you're looking for online dating, you want to go and place tiny classified, there is a way to play this out where you don't have to play by the rules of the apps. And I did a thing about this weekend, and I'll say it. I like Hinge. I suggested you should try Hinge. It has been very good to me. A month ago, Hinge took a portion of what people in your search parameters, and they put them in something called standouts. And they say that they're people who have the best prompt answers. That's bullshit. They're the most attractive people. They're the people who get the most likes. That's it. The people who get the most other people swiping on them show up in a separate area where the only way to connect with them is to give them a rose, not a star. That's free. Well, if you pay, it's free. But you have to give them a rose, which means the only way that I can match with the top people who would be the best matches for me on Hinge is if I pay them more money. I get one rose a week, and then if I want more, I have to pay. And by the way, if I save my rose, I don't get 2 the following week. It just stays at 1. I could use the app every day. I get 1 rose until I use it, and then I get 1 back a week later from that. It is criminal.
Well, so why are you telling people to use Hinge then? It sounds like that's like a bit of almost like a scam.
It is a scam, and I found that out. But I have also figured out a way to not worry about that, because what happens is when those people funnel out of your standouts, they put them back in the stream. So you just be patient. If you like someone and you have that rose for a week, but Scott, it's not about taking a break. No. It's about working within the parameters of these apps and doing it right. And that's what we've tried to figure out. And that's where we can help people. I don't want to tell people to quit. We can help you.
No. I'm not telling anyone to quit. Taking a break is not quitting. Understand the difference. You might need a week break.
Black and white. Everything's black or white.
Right. You might need a week break. You might need a couple weeks break. Like, again, people don't take breaks, but they do, like, they have crap responses to people and they don't match anyway. So all I'm saying is that if you don't have help and guidance, which we're trying to help and guide people, sometimes a minority of people might need a little break. That's okay. I'm not telling people to take a break because we're going to help you. So don't take a break. Let us help you and you'll be reinvigorated. That's
Way
fine.
better.
But I think you said something very wise. Can't believe I just
Yes.
said that you said something wise. Look, I do think you're smart. I think you're a dumbass usually, but I think you're smart
Why can't you just go with the nice thing?
because I just can't with you. So
You
you're very
don't know
smart.
me,
You're very
but
smart.
I'm your brother. By the way, it's better than you think it is. I think if I hear it right.
But
So
you singing? No, it's not. You could actually, if I
I'm
gave you
not
the mic,
singing. I'm
you
doing an
could.
impression of another guy. It's like not my voice. It's not like you say like, "Hey, sing this song for me. Let's see if you
I'll
can
do
make
the
the
back.
choir."
I'll be the
I'm
backup
trying
singer
to
for you.
be
Go ahead.
Michael
Try and
McDonald.
try and be Michael McDonald. I'll be like, take
I
me
have two
through
things.
the streets. All right, wait,
Oh
wait.
God. Oh my God.
So hold
I
on,
have
hold
two
on.
things I need to get to. So let's
I
get
understand. So
off. Let's
really
get back
quick,
on track.
you said something smart, which is patience. So what I do believe in life, and I think that this goes with work, it goes with your kids, it goes with dating, is you need to have patience and persistence. So I agree. I'm not a quitter, by the way. I'm not a quitter. Taking a break is not quitting. But
Okay.
patience and persistence is a great attitude to take when going through this. And as we start to help more, you need to take that attitude with it. We're going to give you a lot of tips, a lot of things to do to make your profile better, make it stand out, but remain patient and persistent in your goals of trying to find whatever you're looking for.
Not just persistent, but consistent. And I think that's where people sort of swipe outside of their comfort zone because they get frustrated that they're not finding the right people. So they're like, well, let me try this. Let me try 40 miles. And then you're like, well, no, you know what? You're not the type of person who wants to drive 40 miles. So then what happens is you meet somebody 38 miles away and then you get really frustrated because you can never see him because you don't like driving. Well, then you shouldn't have searched that far. And that's where you really have to hone in on what you want. And this is fascinating. So I want to get to when we started with the show, Heim, the steps. I want to get to that in a second. But before we get to that, remember I told you, and I'm weaving right through all this snowstorm. I told you that this week could have been similar to the week where I felt like I had like a 38 out of 40 on my dates that week. Well, the one who was the 12, my math isn't great. She was a 12 out of 10, legit, no chance otherwise. We have remained friendly. We went out one time. She's very COVID conscious, so we haven't been able to go out again. I thought she was blowing me off, but then like she's very receptive to like talk and stuff, and we live close, so I'm willing to ride this out, see what happens. Well, what's funny is I actually did kind of be like a couple of weeks ago, be like, well, what am I doing here? Like, I have a million people who want to hang out with me. Why am I pining after you? And she was like, I appreciate you being honest with me. Well, yesterday we were texting back and forth or Instagram DMing back and forth. And I was telling her kind of the things that we were working on. And she said, can you find love through the apps? I feel like it's destroying the possibility of real relationships. And is there some choice that people, if you don't invest, you just swipe to the next one? She's not a fan of it. And she asked me, maybe you can help me with my profile. And I wrote back, I was like, this is making me laugh because for like 2 months, I've been trying to get your attention. And I'm 100% willing to like just give up on everything else just to hang out with you. And now you've asked me to help you with your dating profile. That's how good I am at helping people with their profiles. That literally a woman's like, I don't want to date you, man. Like I did with Nicole. I said to Nicole at the beginning, not she would have dated me. It wasn't my choice. But I said, I don't think I should date you. I should hire you. And then we did. Then she works with us. I think that's how people look at me now. They don't want to date me, but I can
They want your
help them.
Yeah, but I mean, just for all those women out there that are asking you for your help, keep in mind we have a whole team of people that are helping. So it's not just.
Oh, I don't mean me. No. I'm the conduit into. No, it's not me. Please. And by the way, I have to share with you an email. One of the people on our team got back to me and just set me straight. So yes, it is definitely. This isn't even just like. This is not just the two of us. We're the face right now because we yell into microphones. It is not just me. Having said that, I think it's funny that a woman who literally like number one on the list of casting is like, can you help me with my profile because I'm not finding anyone that I like. Oh my God.
So maybe you need to help her.
I'm going to because I like helping
and maybe she'll realize that even
I don't care if she realizes it.
People.
This is where I am with this, and I haven't given up at all on this woman or anyone. But you know what? There are people who want to hang out with me. There are people who, if the snowstorm makes that person who I wanted to hang out with today not want to hang out with me, then it wasn't meant to be. And I'm okay with that. Maybe it is too far, or maybe
Right.
I was good texting the first day, but now I'm boring or I'm too weird. I had this whole conversation about time with a woman online, and she hasn't written me back yet, probably because I freaked her the F out of my thoughts on time and how everyone says that life's too short. But by the time you're 80 years old, you've lived 700,800 hours. You need more? You need more than that. Life's too short. You've been alive for 700,000 hours by the time you're at like the end of life stage ish.
Yeah.
But like when you're 30, you're like, life's too short. No, it's not. Life is extremely long. Trust me, this year where I've been in this apartment from February 1st, 2020 to February 1st today has not been too short.
I think the days are long and the weeks and months are short. I think it goes by fast. I think everything. I think painful things.
Think that's.
I think painful things go by fast. I think exciting things go by fast. I always tell people you got to celebrate the good things because there aren't enough of them, and I think that's true with every aspect of your life. So I hear you.
I've tried to rely on mindfulness, as I said many times on the show, and we have a lot on our site. This is where the team comes in for other people where, we talk about things, but other people have been the ones to teach us that like mindfulness is a huge part of my life. And I've learned that from people who are very important to me, some of whom we work with. Nicole is one of them. And I think what I've tried to really do is to be present at every moment that I can. And if you're present in every moment, I'm not going to go down to like the second or the nanosecond or whatever, but if you're present in every moment, if you take every minute for what it is, that's not to say you don't relax and sit and watch Cobra Kai for 3 hours, but if you're doing that, and you're doing it with a purpose. I needed my brain to reboot. I have work to do. I didn't text you because I knew that we would start going on 2 hours of work. I was like, I just need this for myself. And I've gotten to the point where I can feel that. I used to just plow through, but now I can. So I appreciated that time that I had. And to me, if you can appreciate the time you have, no matter what you're doing, life's not too short. It's not. It's very, very long. And it's not bad that it's long.
It's a phrase that people use.
It's an idiom.
It's also your view on things versus mine. I actually do think life is quite short. I try and make the most of my minutes, but that's okay.
Okay, so
go ahead with your
speaking of that.
Yeah.
So I matched with a woman on one of the Jew sites. I can say that. She's not Jewish. I can.
Yeah. I've heard this actually. There's a lot of non-Jewish women going into the Jewish sites because they like to match with Jewish men.
They like to match with Jewish men. Mostly, I mean, joke's on them. I'm not a doctor, but
or a lawyer.
Although I can argue like one. So I don't have the money or the degree or the credentials of any kind.
You don't even have a degree, nonetheless, another degree.
I said this on the show a couple weeks ago, didn't I? For people who are listening, tell me what episode that was. But I said, Mom and Dad always thought that I was going to grow up to be a lawyer, and joke's on them. I get to argue for a living and I don't need any credentials to do it. That's what happens when you become a sports talk show host. You're right about sports. Yes, you're like a lawyer, except it doesn't matter.
You're right. Joke's on them.
Joke's on them.
Don't joke on them. I think that would have been great if you could have been a lawyer. Whatever.
Woman who put on her what type of Jewish person are you, and you can list everything from like just Jewish, which is like culturally Jewish, to Orthodox. This woman checked the box of willing to convert, which I am fascinated by. I'm fascinated by women or men who are willing to relocate, just uproot your life and move somewhere else. And I remember Scott saying one time that I think like you must not have great friends if you're willing to, and like a woman got really, really offended by that. And I was like, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean like your friends must not be great but to be so, to want connection with someone so much that you're willing to leave your existing life to travel across the country or across the world. I've matched with people in like South Africa to find love is a very interesting feeling that I have not had. And so I didn't mean to belittle what this woman was going through, but in the past I did. Well, this woman's willing to convert, which to me is like a whole nother, it's amazing.
Okay.
So she asked me yesterday, I'm looking for a long-term relationship that eventually ends in marriage. And she said, based on what you're telling me, based on my experience online, she's like, you said that you've met people who you felt like you could have connected with on a deeper level for a long-term type of relationship. But at the time you said you weren't ready, which is truth. And she said, I'm nervous about that because if you knew you weren't ready a couple months ago, why do you think you're ready now? And she's absolutely right. And here's my response.
Okay.
I'm kind of read it just so I don't like screw up the words.
Please.
I totally respect what you were saying. And if you know from the start that's what you want, you can definitely make more careful decisions along the way. That's kind of what you do, Scott, I think. But if you said to me 13 years ago, I was ready to be the father of a teenager right then, I'd have laughed you out of the delivery room. But having gone through all the steps of raising a child, I'm a great dad to a teenager now. I wouldn't have been without those steps. And so my point is, it doesn't matter if I'm ready, quote unquote, for a long-term relationship now because it's not one. And I don't want to look past all the fun stuff and important stuff that happens at the beginning of a relationship. And I sent that to the woman who I wasn't ready to date several months ago. And she's like, damn, I figured out life. That is now my boilerplate response to anyone who says, are you ready for a long-term relationship?
Good response.
Thank you.
It's interesting. I mean, I have a different perspective on it, and maybe I do push away people who are the female version of you. Who would have said that? I would have been like, bullshit.
Kind of gross.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, who would have said something like that?
But the thing is, Scott, and we talked about this at the very beginning of the show, and we didn't get to that. But like, I believe that you attract the female version of me because you are the sage, wise wisdom, and we said that part, but we didn't go to the next level of people who are listening to the show are taking your advice. We get emails all the time.
Yeah.
I think some of those people, you're a handsome fella and you know what you're talking about. And obviously, you aren't a lawyer, but you make way more than a lawyer. So, I mean, I imagine that's fine for people. And so I think you're a catch. You're like a catch. So I think people hear what you tell them and they internalize it because they need the help. They're in a situation like me, and then they fall for you very quickly. And that's your problem, is that you then attach to those types of people because you're a helper and you'd like to help people, but you're not helping yourself.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, I've listened to what you said about that, and I do have more open conversations with people about that fact, because you never continue. I mean, you never stop. I should say, you never stop learning and growing as you go through these processes, and I understand that, and I'm trying to work my way through it. I think everyone has challenges. Like, again, I've been out here for a long time, and I'm still making mistakes. I'm still learning things, and I think something that you do, which is fascinating to me, that I have not figured out how to do just yet. Maybe it's because of that quick and strong attraction at the beginning that I can create. I haven't figured out how to be friends with people who I genuinely like. Like, maybe they're not meant for me to be dating, but I like them as a person and I would like to be friends with them, but I haven't figured out how to convert. I think people who match with me and engage with me want to be with me or not.
You know what the problem is? And I can answer that question directly for you, and I'm not even joking. I think the problem is you come from a position of authority, a position of power, so to speak, in the dynamic, where you come from the established what people aspire to be. I come from I'm still working through my damage, whether I am or not, whether I'm ready for that long-term thing or not. I think a lot of the people who I've become friends with, they've either friend zoned me or they've been okay with me doing that to them because they realize that I'm not at that point where they are. So it's not a matter of me not wanting to be with them. It's a matter of me not maybe even being able to be with them yet. And yet they still like me enough that they want me in their life. You are able to be at that level of relationship for someone. So if you're not, you're choosing not to be. And that's why they get resented. Yeah. They resent you and they don't want to be friends with you because it's a choice for you. And for me, it's not.
Right. That's really interesting. Yeah, maybe you're right. I wish it wasn't the case. I mean, I really do, because I think that there are some great people that I engage with and talk to, and I think they're fantastic people. Just for one reason or another, I have my 3 things that we talked about with Nicole too. Well, one, like, fourth, I guess, if she adds in spirituality. Yes. But mine's like physical, emotional, and mental. And I think you need to have those connections. I think that's important, especially if you're looking. Yeah, and spiritual's a part of that. I kind of always included that as a part of it, and then Nicole called it out separately, so I would add that in there. But I think that that's real, and I think I can connect with certain people. Certainly on two of them, all three are hard, or four, I guess,
Very hard.
are very hard. And I don't know. I think you're right though, and I don't know how to resolve that, but I do wish that I could not just have people come in and out of my life so fast because they can't be the one
Yeah.
with me, because that's kind of sad.
I think this is a big step for you, honestly, and I'm not being flippant at all about this. And this is the last thing that I'd say. Obviously, I mean, I'm happy to discuss this with you further, but I wanted to get to that sort of epiphany that I had last night
Yeah.
and sort of end on that for myself. But to your point, Scott, I think that what you may not be doing, and I'm not on these dates with you. I talk to you afterwards, or you show me what you say to back and forth to get somebody to go out with you or whatever. But I think that what you're probably not doing is showing as much vulnerability as you have. I think your mantra is like, well, we talked about this before, like with mom and dad thing, like you don't want anybody to see the cracks. And so sometimes you
Right.
spackle over them because you don't want anybody to see that the cracks even ever existed. And that's okay, because that's how you pump yourself up. That's how you get through each day. But I think showing a little bit more of that, showing these people that you do have those cracks, would humanize you to a point where maybe they would say like, all right, you know what, maybe he's not the best match, but maybe there is a relationship there in a different way. And I think that you strive for sort of personal perfection, and that doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that it's a fault of yours. I'm just saying I think you're on. You're a salesman. You're selling yourself. I'm not selling myself. I'm basically telling people buyer beware. If you want me, come and get me, but I only have 3 wheels. So you got to find the 4th, or I'm not mowing your lawn.
A tricycle.
Oh yeah, that would work too. I'm like a shovel that doesn't have the metal thing at the bottom. So like it's just a plastic shovel, and it's going to snap if you put too much snow on it. Like,
yeah.
You got
No,
me at the dollar store. I mean, that's me, but
yeah.
you're like that one with the hook and
Yeah.
like it's like shovels for you. That's you. And everyone's like, why isn't this working? Look how great this is. And to me, it's like, well, yeah, no shit. That's like, it's not working.
It's interesting. Mom texted me, and I talked to mom about all my
Have you? Haven't mentioned that. Yeah, that's new. What are you talking about mom?
I talk, yeah. Well, I because I think mom's great. So she said to me something that was very interesting. She said, like, she mentioned a couple people's names that are friends. Like maybe I dated them in the past, but didn't work out, and they're friends. And she said, why don't you connect with her, this person? Let's say the name. Because maybe you also, while you're going through this process, you just need a friend to talk to, like who's a female friend who knows me, very well.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was interesting. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Interesting. And interestingly enough, somebody who was in my life previously we did reconnect, just again, friendly. She's married and has a lot of stuff going on, but we reconnected, and I would say it's kind of nice, actually. Somebody who really knows me, and we could have fairly candid conversations about our lives, and has known me for a long time, and our lives, and where they've gone, right or wrong. And I think there's something interesting about that. So needless to say, I'm in agreement with you. I'm like I tell everyone else who comes to me for help, or you for help, or us for help. I'm a work in progress too. So even though it might seem like I have my shit together, which I generally do, and I have this strong foundation, you're right. I do. I'm pretty quick to be able to spackle over the cracks in the foundation, and that's okay too. Like I'm a super stable guy.
It's not a knock on you.
It's a reality.
And this goes back to the woman who I think is a 12 and is like, why isn't what am I not putting in my profile? And again, that's my point in all of this, Scott. It's not a matter of, is your profile good enough? It's a matter of, is it the right profile, the right opportunity for the right people who are coming across? We show in this thing that we're working on, like a giant picture. It's a beautiful picture. And everyone's like, looks at it. They're like, wow, what a great picture. And it's great if you're looking at a mountain, but it's not great if you zoom in and there's like a blurry version of me, like this big in the corner.
Right.
As a vista, it's a phenomenal picture. Maybe I'll throw it up here. I'll throw it up in the video. Maybe it's a great picture.
Yeah.
But as a portrait, it's the worst picture you've ever seen. And that's where I think
Yeah.
people need to worry about that. And that's where I
Yeah.
think maybe you are in that regard too.
Yeah. Well, look, I think the people that can give the best advice, and this goes back to our old, hair club for men kind of thing. Not only am I the
By the way,
owner, I'm a client too, or
woke up
whatever.
like this.
Nice. Um, so did I. No, I actually showered this morning, which is good. Uh, I think that I think the same thing about us when we talk about things like that. That I think the best teachers in life, and I have a friend who will oftentimes give me guidance, and he says coaches don't play, which is really funny because he's giving me guidance, but he's not necessarily taking himself.
Right.
I actually think some of the best teachers in life and in dating in this case, or just as being a divorced parent, are people that are going through it too. So I'm still trying to figure it out myself, and I know you are also at different
Right.
stages. I
Oh yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
actually why what we're doing is so relevant, because we're in it. We're in it with you guys. Like
Yeah.
we're out there too, and I think that's really important. Um,
And we're
and I
at
think
very
that's
different
what they're hearing.
stages and have very
Yeah,
different needs. So I think that's where like this whole like we have like what like a dozen people who are helping us with this, and they're all at very different stages
yeah,
and looking for very different things. So it's really fun to like, hey, here's a scenario. We kick it around to like 6 other people and we get feedback. It's just amazing. I have to actually talk to you about that after we're done recording.
yeah.
Some of the feedback I got, and it's amazing to be like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Well, yeah, that's the point. You can't think of everything.
Yeah, well, that's why we have a team. I agree. So one thing, if we're almost done, I just want to transition
Oh
because I
yeah, we're
thought
done.
this
It's
is
all you.
really hilarious. Okay, this is really hilarious. That so this weekend, Jack said to me, he was like, "I heard you and Uncle Dan were talking about me on the podcast." So I listened,
Oh no.
and I said, "Oh," I was like, "What were we talking about?" He was like, "Oh, you're talking about school, Florida, like whatever, like I was in Miami, et cetera, et cetera." And I said, "Oh, what'd you think?" He said, "Yeah, it was cool. Except once you stopped talking about me, I turned it off. I turned it off."
Well, thank you. Good.
Which is good, but it was really funny. It was very cute. But I will say it was a big weekend for Jack. So not that Jack will listen to this and see it to the end, but a
Please
big
don't.
shout out for Jack. Like forget about the school stuff, which I'll keep behind the scenes, which is very exciting for him. Uh, he had his first game and I know you
Yeah.
you got a chance to watch it.
We watched it on YouTube with the kids.
As I know, which is so
15
cool,
points in the
so
first
cool.
half. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So he had 20 points in the game, and this is his first game of the senior year, and he was a monster, and it was so great to watch. But I think what was so good, what I was trying to figure out is I was very, very, very sad that I couldn't be there in person. Like I've spent
Yeah.
so many years taking him to lessons and to practices and to games, and being a good dad in the stands and all this other stuff. And it's really painful because of COVID that I can't go watch it in person. However, I will say what was so nice about it, and he did have a monster game, was really impressive. Uh, he Jack had the biggest audience watching him that he's ever had, and he didn't even realize it because the gym was empty. But you guys were watching it,
Yeah.
mom and dad were watching it, his whole other side of the family were watching it. So he had this amazing audience all watching him like really dominate. So, shout out to Jack for, having a great weekend and, recognizing that every once in a while we'll talk about him and he can listen to the beginning of the end of shows.
I thought that was it. I thought you were gonna. I mean, that was the time to throw up the.
Yeah. So I didn't know if I didn't know if you're gonna retort and say like, yeah, Jack is awesome or whatever. So
Jack is awesome. And by the way, just a quick retort, if you're allowing me, I said to you some point in the first half of that game, don't let him pick a college yet. And I mean this. Kid 6'5" can shoot the ball. He needs to get his fitness up a little bit, but he's big. He can box out. He did some great low post moves, Kevin McHale-esque. He could go low Division 1. And I'm not even. Look, I did this for 15 years. I know a lot about college basketball. The kid could play low Division 1. And maybe that's not what he wants. But if he wants to continue his basketball career, scoring 20 points in a high division game against a crappy team, but his team went to the state
He didn't
finals.
play. He barely played in the second half.
Barely played the second half.
I mean,
15 points in the first half when it mattered. If he keeps that up, he's going to get some offers. So don't let him sign any papers.
Yeah, well, we're not signing papers yet, but I appreciate that. Jack appreciates it. He right now. I just want him to have fun. I think that's important for the kids. That as they go through this, he's in a critical year in his life, and whatever happens. I want him to have fun. I want him to appreciate it. I want him to have good memory equity of what's going on. And on that note, and I think both my kids had a great weekend, and they have snow day today. So bless them, and they should have it. So thanks to the school board for actually, being kind and smart and not just making everyone do remote work on a horribly snowy day. So good for you, and kids first.